Hey, what is up, everybody? This is Stevie Breach coming to you here today. We're going to be talking a little bit about WrestleMania 35. It's going to be coming up for you sooner than later. There's a little bit of talk out there about 4 big matches that WWE has planned for WrestleMania. No word on if any of these matches are truly going to happen, or if as of right now they are just sort of the talk of the town. But when it comes to 4 matches that are going to main event WrestleMania 35, to put this up in New York City, if this is going to be, the big one that, brings people to WrestleMania. As of right now, I think WrestleMania really sells itself. I don't really think that you have to have, these really big matches where people are like booking last minute flights to New York. I have to see this. I think people either know that WrestleMania is going to be, the best of all time, or if it's just going to be one that, fills a month of WWE Network shows. I think you either really want to go right now, or you just gonna sit on your couch and watch it on TV like me. But WrestleMania 35, if everything goes in, and plays out the way that it's going to be, I don't really know where these matches were, reported from. If this is Dave Meltzer news, or if this is, just sort of the word that's floating around on the internet. These quite possibly could be the 4 biggest matches that WWE could, at this time, really have to make people care about WrestleMania. So whether this is real matches, or if this is, just sort of, put together news, I think this is the best that they could do. One of these matches is, I guess you can say the returning Legends match of WrestleMania. Every year we sort of got this. You can either call this the Triple H match, or you can call it the return to WWE that, brings people to the table that really haven't been watching for the past few years. We've seen Triple H in the past have matches against guys like Sting. And of course, this year it's going to be, Triple H versus Batista. This is a match that, we've been talking about. We've been, hunting this match down, in my opinion, since WrestleMania 32. Batista, of course, went off and made some movies after WrestleMania 30. He became a pretty big movie star, being a part of the Marvel franchise. And of course, he moved into, being a bad guy in the James Bond video. And it seems like, he's not The Rock, but he is a pretty big name in Hollywood as of right now. That name really does, deliver. I don't think that if Batista headlined an action movie, it would be a surefire blockbuster hit. But I think that he's got enough chops in acting that, if he got the right script and the right role with the right director used in the right way, I think that he could have a movie come out that made a bunch of money. I do believe in him. But I do really think that Batista really has one more match left in him to come back to WWE. He wants to give this to the fans. And I think WWE is kind of 50-50, flip-flop, if they want to use Batista or not. I don't know if maybe they feel like he left them out in the cold to leave, to go make this Marvel movie, being a part of that. But when you get a chance to get a role like that, I honestly think you got to take it. No matter if you main event WrestleMania 30 and you're a part of the Evolution return and you're going up against the Shield, you get a chance to go make that movie, you go make it. And I think that he did the right thing, honestly, in my opinion. Triple H, of course, was injured during the Crown Jewel show in that tag match. Him and Shawn Michaels going up against Kane and Undertaker. I don't really know if that pec injury is going to be able to be back on the table, but as of right now, I think that's one of the biggest matches that they really could, bring Batista back for, that people really are going to care about, besides for Batista versus Brock Lesnar. Second match of the night, of course, is going to be another return match. Shawn Michaels versus Daniel Bryan. This, of course, would be for the SmackDown WWE Championship. In my opinion, I think that SmackDown is a really good wrestling show, but if you are going to bring back Shawn Michaels, and of course you didn't bring back Shawn Michaels just to have him on Crown Jewel, just to have him a part of the what they call that show where he was in Triple H's corner that was from Australia. I don't think you just brought him back for that. Shawn, I think if he's going to come back and he's going to wrestle, he's going to make as much money as he can. He's going to go out there and he's going to have the biggest matches that he can. If he's going to come back, he's got to wrestle at WrestleMania. This is Mr. WrestleMania. I mean, you know, Daniel Bryan versus Shawn Michaels is a match that honestly Shawn has turned down. He's come out and said that he was against this, I believe, back in 2013 when they wanted to have Daniel Bryan versus Shawn. Of course, when Daniel Bryan was on the chase for the championship, of course, Shawn screwed him at Hell in a Cell. That was a really big match where Shawn was the special guest referee and he stood up for the Authority and he helped Randy Orton keep his championship. And a lot of people thought that we were going to get that match then, and Shawn was like, yeah, I don't really want to wrestle. Now, WWE's making a lot of freaking money. They can throw that on the board, and I think Shawn is pretty smart. He's going to take that money if he gets the chance, even if he had to shave his head. You know, Shawn can come back as a monster babyface going up against the monster heel, which is Daniel Bryan, where he's kind of like the old grandpa, you know, standing on his porch yelling at the kids to get off his lawn. That's the best way that I think of the Daniel Bryan character going today. And I think that would be a really fun match added to WrestleMania. You could do the whole 2002 thing again where Shawn wins the championship. Maybe he just holds it for a month, drops it at whatever, you know, Extreme Rules, or, you know, you don't want to kill Shawn Michaels in an Extreme Rules match, but you can come up with some match where Shawn drops the championship a month later, and of course, if you do that, pump out another Shawn Michaels DVD and make a couple bucks of Shawn Michaels behind the scenes as the champion. Third biggest match would be Brock Lesnar going up against Seth Rollins. A lot of people think that maybe Brock Lesnar isn't a part of the WWE plans as of right now, that he's going to be going back to UFC. I think that Brock's going back to UFC, but I don't think Brock's staying in UFC. I don't even think Brock is going to win his fight, whether if it's against Daniel Cormier, whether if it's against you know, anybody that's on the UFC roster. I don't have faith that Brock's going to win. So I think that Brock's going to be right back on the same place where he wants to wrestle for WWE. They give him a really light schedule. Brock only really has, 4 wrestling matches a year. He shows up on Monday Night Raw, 8 times a year, maybe at the most. He doesn't really do house shows anymore, and if he does, it's like a 2-3 minute match where he doesn't really have to do anything. He has a chance of getting injured, picking somebody up or something like that, but it doesn't really like he's going out there and getting, you know, monster bumps against guys or anything like that. Seth Rollins, in my opinion, is probably the best guy to give Brock a really good match. Off the top of my head, I really can't remember that Battleground match, but we never really got a finish at Battleground anyways, because that's the middle of nowhere. Undertaker hits the gong, he shows up, and next thing you know, Brock versus Undertaker was main eventing SummerSlam. So in reality, you know, we're years down the road, but this is a match that we really need a finish to anyways. So I'm all for this. I think that this would be a good match to add to WrestleMania 35. You know, really nothing to go against that. And hitting cleanup, I guess you can say, some people think that this might be the main event of WrestleMania. It would be Ronda Rousey against Becky Lynch. I honestly thought that we were going to go right into this at the Royal Rumble, but it looks like this isn't the match they really want to give to us as of right now. There was word that Becky Lynch was going to get a championship shot against Asuka at the Rumble, and then they had Paige basically say that, you know, she tried her best to get us this match as her last chance at being the GM, but WWE overturned it. As of right now, I haven't heard what the main event of the Rumble is going to be. I can honestly tell you that in my opinion, I think that Ronda Rousey versus Becky Lynch might be the hot hand to go to right now. We've seen Becky versus Charlotte, but I know that Becky is the hot thing going on in wrestling right now. I will always be a Charlotte Flair fan. I really feel that Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey is the true main event of the women's division that people really want to see. Yes, we did get to see it at Survivor Series, but as far as I can remember, I don't think we really got a true finish to that match. We just basically saw Charlotte hitting Ronda Rousey with a whole bunch of kendo stick shots and stuff like that. And unless I fell asleep for a minute and don't remember the finish, I think we're still owed it. So Becky versus Ronda doesn't make me want to change the channel or not watch WrestleMania. I just don't believe that it is the true main event to really main event WrestleMania. And plus, we just had this story last week that WWE told Charlotte she'd be main eventing WrestleMania. And if it's not against Ronda Rousey or Becky Lynch, who's Charlotte having a big match against in WWE that really has a chance to really stand up and deliver being the main event of WrestleMania, let alone Charlotte versus anybody else on the roster? Or does that even have a chance to be on the WrestleMania true card? I can't really think of anybody, Raw or SmackDown, that could stand up and have a match. It has to be the three of them, or if they do the two of them, I think it has to be Rousey versus Charlotte to be worthy of being on the main card. So as of right now, those are the four matches. The last few WrestleManias have had